Good morning. Today's Thursday, December 19th, over here in Glen Heights, Texas. So I was thinking earlier, and I want to start off pretty good. The wife is out of town, which is not why my mom. The wife is out of town, which is not why my morning started good, but I was able to get an early start. I was up at like 4 a.m. Well, I was up a little bit before that, but I got out of the bed at 4 a.m. Did some did some push-ups, did some sit-ups, took Ace on a little walk in the community for a little bit while the girls still slept. Came in, went back in my room, did some more push-ups, some more sit-ups, and laid across my bed and kind of thought for a minute, just going with my thoughts. And what came to me was alpha relationships, or better yet, relationships. I have a lisp, so I gotta be intentional with me pronouncing my words. But relationships pertaining to alphas and betas and narcissistic personalities versus non-narcissistic personalities, God. So I'm gonna try to break this down. I have no notes. This is me. This is my thoughts. So don't go and say so and so, so and so, so and so. But these are just my thoughts. I I love to study people. I love people watching. That's one of the things I enjoy doing the most. Going to a crowd somewhere and just watching people. Watching especially when you can hear the conversations, but when you really can't hear the conversations, but you can read the body language and it communicates a whole lot to you. I'm really good at doing that, and so I kind of got a good understanding of people. So, so let's break this down as far as the alpha and betas, right? So the conclusion I've come to is most marriages, if they end, they usually end because two alphas married each other, or two betas married each other, or an alpha and a beta got together, but the alpha was narcissistic, or alpha and the beta got together, but the beta was overly narcissistic, or there was no God. Well, primarily there was no God, right? Because you can have those relationships and still have God, and people still, still trying to find their way. Well, I guess maybe they don't actually have God, especially with a narcissistic personality. It's tough for them because for them they are God. So it's really hard for narcissistic alpha male or female to believe in God, and all the more reason why no one should ever be with a narcissistic alpha who don't believe in God. No one. They will cause havoc on your life, male or female. But God designed us this way, right? Alpha and beta. Alpha females, alpha males, alpha beta males, beta females. God designed us this way. And so it's very important that you identify who you are. Are you an alpha, or are you a beta? Whether male or female, it's good to know who you are. And I think the problem nowadays is society has convinced us that beta males are weak and they're not useful, which is not true. If that was the case, God would not have designed them that way. But I do say a beta male is most useful as a Christian man who's married to an alpha female who's a Christian woman. That is where a beta male will shine. He will shine, shine, shine. Anything outside of that, he will not shine. Because and that alpha female who's a Christian can't have narcissistic personality. I feel like, see, people think all alphas are narcissistic, and I don't agree with that. I think alphas, a good alpha, male or female, can be caring, can love. I think the issue is a narcissistic alpha can't love because they don't value weakness. They view weakness as weak and they don't respect it. But an alpha who loves God and fear God doesn't see that weakness as a bad thing. In fact, they understand it to be good. So that's why I say only a Christian alpha who isn't narcissistic. I mean, that is tough, right? But because they could be narcissistic as a Christian as long as they're working on themselves to tone themselves down, to bring themselves to humble themselves. And the problem with that is most narcissistic people, if not all, can't humble themselves. They don't know what that means to humble themselves. So, in closing, I would say this. One, identify who you are. Are you an alpha or are you a beta? Because there are a lot of beta males running around here looking like alpha males. And there are a lot of alpha males who don't realize that they're alphas until they get the right person to wake them up. But honestly, I think alphas is, automatically if you're alpha or not. I think alphas, they're born to conquer. They're born to take, to control. But a Christian alpha would do those things in the name of God, in the name of Jesus, and they'll do it with love. But to the identifying yourself, that's how alpha females usually get with alpha males. Like true alpha females getting with so-called alpha males because the alpha female can see that that's not a real alpha male. Or an alpha female will get with the alpha male, but it's usually for short periods of time because both of them want to dominate and they can't dominate each other. So one, identify yourself. Are you an alpha or are you a beta? Two, what would two be? One, identify yourself. Are you an alpha or are you a beta? Two, if you are an alpha and if you are a beta, then you just know your role, play your role. Know what your role as an alpha man, as an alpha man is, or an alpha woman, and know your role as as a beta male and a beta woman. And if you can know that and learn your role and play your position and find your opposite, right? So if you're beta, you need to find an alpha. If you're a beta male, you need to find an alpha woman. Again, in church, who truly fears God and who's truly living to serve God, right? So find an alpha. If you're an alpha male, find a beta male. But I don't have to tell. Well, I kind of do, right? Because some alphas are still men and they go after women, and sometimes maybe they get crossed up or confused. So, but one, each person needs to identify themselves. Are you an alpha or you a beta? And two, you need to work on learning your roles of what an alpha and a beta truly looks like. So you need to, if you're an alpha, you need to know what a beta looks like. If you're a beta, you need to know what an alpha looks like. And three, and then three, go out and find your opposite. Like truly find your opposite. And then if I had another thought, and then four, man, I lost that thought. But yeah, so I think this is helpful. I really do. Maybe I shed some more light on this subject, but forgive me. If I've been up since 4, I only had a couple hours of sleep, most likely because my wife isn't home, so she's out of town on work. So, but yeah, so learn that dynamic. If you can master that dynamic, that will take you, I feel, a long way. Like just me truly understanding it now, breaking it down, and understanding what that looks like. Now what I'm trying to do is incorporate that, figure out how I can incorporate that into my everyday life. Identifying the alpha and the beta in every person, and then figure out how I can fit in. Because it's interesting, man, because it's like part of me feel like I'm a beta, but then part of me feel like I'm an alpha. But I feel like if I feel like I'm an alpha, then I'm like an alpha is an alpha who just dominate. They need to dominate. I don't need to dominate, so I don't need to be in control. I don't need to have power. So I could easily be considered a beta. And so then now I have to ask myself, moving forward, every relationship, can I do that? Can I? Because I feel like it's a give and take thing when it comes to alpha and beta, right? Alpha takes, betas give. So now I have to figure out while identifying each individual, am I capable of doing that? Am I capable of giving to an alpha or a stronger alpha than me? And am I capable of taking from a beta? And in a sense, how I looked at it is as a beta follows an alpha, right? So can an alpha take the lead and lead a beta? And can a beta let an alpha, or can a beta give an alpha the lead so they can lead? And so I think it's much easier that way when you do that, right? And society views that as a man and a woman, alpha man, beta woman. But God designed us the way He designed us for a reason. So if you're a male and you're a beta, then you just figure out how to be how to coexist in a relationship, how to coexist in a relationship with an alpha male, and how to coexist in a healthy relationship with an alpha male, and how to coexist in how to coexist in a healthy relationship with an alpha female. So hopefully this helps someone, man. Like this, it really opened my mind this morning when I thought about it. But yeah, so here's what I would say also to the relationship part of it. Examine that, like truly examine that. Like, are you an alpha or are you a beta? Are you married to an alpha or are you married to a beta? Like, examine that. All your relationships, examine that. And examine, are you giving and are you taking, right? And those relationships, when truly manifested the right way, are some of the best relationships. And as I'm thinking about this, I'm examining different relationships and seeing the different personalities of alpha and beta, and seeing their roles and seeing why they lasted as long as they did, because they knew their roles. They knew who they were, maybe real early on, and because of that, they're flourishing relationships. So yeah, so again, this is about alpha versus beta. Figure out who you are, identify who you are, figure out who you are, identify what an alpha and beta is, and then use that in your everyday life. Well, I'm out of here. Peace. Remember, God loves you, and so do I.